Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
A big boy Sam here, bringing you episode 13 of Platinum End.
Finally, Metropoliman let all his crazy dreams loose. I love to see a villain on the edge of insanity, just totally crazed. But before I even really go into that, let's just address the elephant in the room. I think it must be discussed. Let's get it out of the way.
Trigger warning, trigger warning. If you are triggered by certain things to do with the anime community as a whole, please do not watch this part.
So, Metropoliman had a little backstory, and I'm just gonna say him and his sister's relationship gave me the absolute creeps, and the shots, the camera angles were just making it even more intentional. Actually, I think I was even more disturbed by the camera angles because they kept shooting Ria from these angles where it looked like she was completely naked, and as Metropoliman decided to tell us near the end of that backstory, she at the time was only 14 years old. It was just really unnecessary. I did not like it.
Yeah, so he wants to bang his sister, innit? And I'm sorry, I know it hasn't been said and it's not, explicitly clear, but you know what's going on here. We know what's going on here. Everyone watching this knows what's going on here. He wants to bang his sister, and he got visibly jealous when she was like, yo, this guy likes me, innit? And so she obviously came to him thinking, she's gonna tell someone who loves her some good news, and it led to her falling from a tall edge and banging her head and getting into this state that she's now in. And in order to preserve her beauty and chastity, I guess, he's cryogenicked her, and his aim is to turn her into an angel when he becomes God. And that's why he's doing this whole plan. Guys, what the actual F is going on here? Like, what?
It's definitely manslaughter. What was actually even weirder was when he went down there and she was slowly slipping away from the land of the living. He said, oh my gosh, I need to call an ambulance. Then his follow-up statement was, but if she dies, then she'll look like this forever. As you said, what the hell is going on? Literally, what the hell is going on? And then he tells us that, rich people, only beautiful things can come out of it. Well, I'm telling you that whatever he was trying to have going on with his sister, it wasn't beautiful. Okay? And no. If this is what the society he is dreaming of has to offer the rest of us,
you might as well just move to Alabama, innit?
Oh my gosh.
You might as well, innit?
Whatever he's got planned, whatever he has in store it's not the one. I also love the way, even as he's coming away at the seams, he's saying he's going to create this amazing world, get rid of all of the poor people and only have beautiful people. Even ugly rich people he's going to get rid of. An ugly pig can only make an ugly pig. But then he says, but we'll have slaves though, but they're not rich.
I put it this way, the world he wants to create has already been tried and tested and it's failed horribly.
Race war! Race war! Race war! Race war's on, everybody!
Metropoliman, like the angel of intuition said, whose name escapes me, he said, my intuition tells me that if my man becomes God, there's a human extinction thing going on here.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's dead in here if this happens. And I'm starting to believe him because this took me way out of left field here, I thought I'm going to become God. I'm sorry, he's going to become God. And then
Freudian.
Shut up. And he's going to create a new society and basically raise his sister from the dead and give her new life. Or something like that, something, I want to say normal, but I think you guys know what I mean here. No, that's not it. And from episode 1, I've said this. Every single God candidate that has been picked is tapped. This guy's just tapped in a different way than I expected. And this show never ceases to amaze me. Look, last time we made an episode about this show, we said that it turned into trash because they didn't keep intellectually consistent. This time, it reinvigorated my my interest in it. I kind of want to know what's going on now. Well done for picking it up. You picked it up a few times. I like it.
But the problem is with that is you're reinvigorated because it's about Metropoliman, and this is what I was saying last time, where it was like you should just follow the villain, because this is something that he does really well and gets into this crazed psyche of, you know, what he thinks a villain is like, and it's pretty amazing. And I think that's why you're reinvigorated.
I don't understand what you mean. He didn't do a villain last time. He did the hero.
Yeah, he did a villain last time.
What villain did he do last time?
Come on, man. We're not doing this. Are we doing this, guys? We're not doing it, are we? You know that he created a villain.
Who? Ryuk.
Light?
F off with that.
Okay, anyway.
No, Light is not a villain, in it, and I'll go to the ends of the earth for this. But anywho, that's not what we're talking about. Metropoliman is the most interesting character. He should be the MC. And yes, he is completely twisted and vile, and I hate the fact that he wants to bang his sister. And I'm going to keep saying it because, unfortunately, yeah, that is how twisted it is. It needs to seep in that this guy wants to bang his sister.
Stop saying it. She's 14. Let's just leave it alone. We don't need to keep harping on that.
And because of this, it's left a lot of weird things. What kind of world can be created when you've decided that all the ugly people are deaded and all the poor and ugly people are double deaded and everyone else who is alive is basically a slave or a master race? Sounds kind of Second World War-y to me, doesn't it? Flipping, like, on the level, guys, it's already been tried, and guess what happened? You lost.
Although maybe not as extreme, this does seem to be what a lot of governments try to do all over the world.
Wealth is generated on the backs of others.
Yes, of course,
and
which is why this world will come to a dead stop, because he's not even thinking about his slaves as being someone who can do things such as build things that are needed, like life-saving equipment. A lot of the parts come from these poorer countries that he would probably just immediately eradicate, and also built by a lot of people in poorer countries, or not even poorer countries, but the poorer section of any country. It's not necessarily a poor country.
We both agree that this should crumble down. However, let me look on the other side a little bit. So, the poorer countries, it might sound bad, but there are some beautiful people in poorer countries and poor circumstances. Loads of beautiful people, so they might be saved. Might. Second of all, he's become God. We don't know what that actually entails. What powers does God have? We've not seen a lot of God's powers other than a really good cell phone because he can talk to angels and tell them stuff. And the power to promote and demote people. That's the only thing we've seen in this anime. We don't know what God's powers actually are. What if God's powers are actually quite benign and can't really change a lot of things, just set things in motion? He'd be stuffed. He's not thinking about, can God actually be omnipotent here? We don't know that. We just say Kami-sama, innit?
That's what I was saying to you before, but you said to me that you wouldn't accept what I was saying because it's based off of
Judeo-Christian
right.
route.
So then we have to assume that as a god, he will have the same powers and abilities that are written about in the Bible.
Okay, cool. Let's take that then, right? What powers does he have in the Bible?
He can make the sea part.
He can also make locusts come. He can kill the firstborn of every single race. He can also, his son can make loads of food. He's good at food and wine.
He can
walk on water.
Right.
There's that as well.
Right. Wine is very important.
Okay, and then let's take it further back. He can create the world.
Right. From dust.
And animals. And human beings.
Right.
So every time Metropoliman fails as God, just starts again, innit?
Oh my god.
Noah's ark floods it all over and tries again, innit?
That is true, but...
So, I guess, you know, it's alright, innit?
Possibly, but I still feel like it's going to be quite a lacking world. Money would basically be obsolete.
Yes.
And I guess the beautiful people would have to learn to fix
their cars
and make things.
Yep, let's stop here and think about it. If you become God and it follows a Judeo-Christian route, you're not involved. You're not really involved in the creation or the people or anything. You're just there, innit? So how's he gonna enjoy this new beautiful world he's created?
When he can't even be on the earth.
Yeah, because according to some texts that aren't in the Bible but should have been, really. It says that...
Trigger warning!
It says that, you know, if God speaks to you, you're dead. Just an utterance from God means that you explode and game over.
We found out that after a human dies, they can be turned into an angel. We are getting yet more random tidbits. So that I found that quite odd. I
can't wait to find out more about the magic system here, because it's interesting enough to keep me, but they're not telling me enough for me to hold it. I only feel like I'm interested in the magic system when they drop something. Do you get what I mean? I'm not longing to feel like, oh, how does this work? Do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah, because they're so inconsistent. And we did also find out that the little boy who ran off and said, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, it was actually part of Metropoliman's plan, and he has started recording everything. I'm kind of unsure of why Metropoliman would want this recorded. Allegedly. As crazy as he has been acting.
He's preparing the way for him to be accepted as the all-supreme being.
But most of the people he's talking about he wants dead, so they're not going to exactly be raring to go when their lives are on the line. How can they know the whims of God?
He doesn't need them. Remember, this is self-satisfying. All he wants to do...
Do not say anything to do with his sister, please.
Bring her back to life. All he wants to do is bring her back to life.
Oh my God. I can't stand you.
You're actually twisted because I actually wanted to say that.
Really? Sure you did. So it means that the red arrows aren't quite as useless. They're still quite useless because, as I said, you know, everyone is just willy-nilly doing whatever it is that they want. And it seems odd that Mirai could decide that he wasn't going to do what the red arrow said, whereas when he was shot with the red arrow before, he was acting in ways that he wouldn't have acted before. Even though, yes, he has feelings for Saki, he was acting crazily. He was going to do anything she said, including go to fight Metropoliman because she told him to stop it, and he was on his way to go ahead and do that. But then now it doesn't affect him anymore.
Question though, and this is just a side note before we wrap this up. If I was a god candidate and not one of these main guys, shut up. Not one of these main guys who have got all the screen time. Some of the other ones, you know, the rest of the 13 that we don't know nothing about.
I know, so weird.
Would I not be trying to find god candidates, shooting them with a red arrow and sending them to Metropoliman so that he can do my dirty work for me? Because my guy's made a spectacle of himself. Just send the god candidates over to Metropoliman, or start flooding people with red arrows and just sending them to Metropoliman and making it look like they are all threats, just to flood him with worry and anguish every single time. I know it's twisted, but I mean, you gotta break some eggs.
Well, let's all have a moment of silence and thanks that Big Boy Sama isn't in this anime as a god candidate. And on that note,
don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
And if you made it this far, thank you so much.
Peace.